Welcome to the Nerdlore podcast. We talk stories, theories, and lore. Tonight I'm joined by Dalton Who, and we're going to specifically talk about Digimon, its world, the games, media, and kind of what it means to us. So to start off, we're going to kind of get Dalton's view on Digimon and why he likes Digimon so much.
All right. Well, Digimon was actually like one of the first. I guess it's an anime. I'd say. I mean, it's from Japan.
Technically, right?
I guess technically it is. It is an anime. It's one of those weird things. It's like you don't look at that and like Pokemon
Yeah,
is an anime,
but
it
are,
technically
right?
is.
Yeah.
But so that was really like one of the probably the first like anime I ever got into as a kid. That really kind of paved the way for my future. And it really stuck with me because it was like, man, how cool would it be to be one of these kids and get sucked into this fantasy world with no parents, no other adults, and with these fucking little creatures.
Yeah.
And they're doing this stuff.
I can't tell you. I remember, so I want to say like I was in the fourth grade when this was like big on TV and everything else like that. And it used to come on the TV every day at 7 o'clock. And my bus would run at 7:15. And I can't tell you, and literally the bus stopped right outside my house. Like I was on the corner and it stopped right there. I can't tell you how many times I got in trouble because I was late to school because I'd be watching an episode and then you just see the bus go right by by the window.
That's like, I gotta look at the dates to like see when the one came out, but I think it was for because like when I was growing up, when my parents were divorced, my mom didn't have cable, and I remember I the only way I could ever watch Digimon was like the other ones were like when I find reruns or like VHS tapes. Oh, VHS, there's a throwback.
Yeah.
But like for the VHS tapes to watch like the original like few seasons, well season 1 and 2 mainly, and then I remember season 4, which is Frontier, where like they actually became the Digimon. That was like going on live when I was in like fourth grade. I think it was the same about you. And it was the same thing because I remember they would air at night, and that'd be the new episodes. But if you got up early enough, they would air the new episodes.
Yeah.
I'd get up at like 6 in the morning, and my dad would be like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Dad, Takuya just turned into a Gooniemon." Come on.
Yeah, and I mean, all the time, like, and so growing up in the family that I had, this was around the time I lived in Texas with my stepdad's family, very religious, and they all, anytime they'd see it, they'd be like, "What are you watching? Little demon creatures running around on the TV?" I don't, and you're just like,
"No, that's Devimon, Dad."
Yeah, I'm like, listen, don't worry about what I'm doing. Just make sure I catch that bus when it comes by to school in the morning. That's what I would like.
Catch that Railmon.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean I agree. Like I remember Pokemon being big. Like Pokemon caught on. It was kind of this whole ordeal. Digimon. Anybody who lived through the time when this was airing on TV side by side with Pokemon, Digimon had better ratings. And even now, when you go back and you see those people that watch both, like a lot of the big reviewers will even say that. They're like, wow, Digimon was a better show. It was 100% a better show. It was just very poorly adapted to our culture here kind of in the US because of the way that it got marketed. And Pokemon's biggest kind of draw to it, it really had that trading card game that went with it. Digimon had a trading card game, and I particularly liked it.
I remember they had like the tin cards. Do you remember that? They were like actual, like the cards were made of tin.
Yeah.
Or aluminum or whatever it is. But like, they weren't like actual. Well, I think they had them too, but they didn't. Not a lot of them were like the normal like paper or cards.
And the thing was like, the Digimon card game was based on this Japanese card game that had already been going around. This like arena card game, but they took the rules and they molded it and made it different and then imported it here. And the card game made very little sense when you're playing it. Like one of the you're trying to score and you're going to be the first person to 1,000 points. So you get like 100 points every time you knock out a Digimon, like goofy stuff like that. But they're Digimon that literally it's like when you digivolve to this Digimon, you get 300 points. When you Digimon to this one, you get 300 points, and you're like, all right, I got 600 points just going to my mega level. All I gotta do is kill like one of their things, and I'm almost there. So
Yeah.
the card game was done very, very poorly. They are redoing the card game.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Um,
But yeah, what Pokemon had going for it too is not only did it have the wildly popular show, which I did enjoy too. I'm a very big Pokemon fan as well, but not just the show, the games.
yeah,
Pokemon did not have a good game until it took a while,
yeah,
realistically, and it just
so with the game too, like one of the crazy things is Digimon put out a game, or like they were like, "Hey, we got a game." There was a system that was a pretty much like Tsunami went in and invested in this little system, and it was like a little Game Boy Advance, and it came out alongside the Game Boy, but it only released in Japan. The
yeah.
system only released there. So how are you going to bring your game to the West and then not give us what we want, like more? So people were just, you had the show, but that's it. And the Pokemon games, they hit here, and they are still like,
Yeah, I mean,
they
you
move
and
systems.
we still like. That's the only reason. Primarily, I have a Switch. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a few other games I do play, but when they came out of the Switch, I'm like, I'm buying this because you know damn well that the next Pokemon game is gonna be on this.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah,
it's sad that we didn't get that, but as you were saying, like they have games now that are good.
yeah,
They're really
I mean,
going.
now, okay, well, they have a few. They've come out with like I want to say there's something like 15 Digimon games that I can think of,
and not all of them are good.
and I mean, I haven't played all of them. Granted, I haven't played all of them. I played a few, and stupid pop up. Like I played a few, and I can tell you, they're not memorable. There's only two that are memorable, and yes, they've come out in the last like 5 years.
Yeah, I remember there was one that was on the PlayStation in that game where it. I remember it being really good, and I remember you walked around and like your three Digimon would walk behind you.
Yeah,
and you're
that's
like,
the one I can remember that one.
Yeah,
too.
like
I think on the cover it had Metal Greymon.
Yeah.
I think that's the one.
And you started off with like an Agumon, and then you could get different Digimon. Like you just kept trying to bring them up throughout the ranks. So I mean, but that's by the time I got that, that was like high school time. I think I want to say when I played it, at least it wasn't new when I got it.
It was on like the PS2, man, or was it PS1?
I think it was PS1. I think it was PS1.
Yeah, I think it was PS1. I'm thinking about I'm thinking of the box. I'm like, I think it was like the little actual like CD square case.
Yeah,
not like the more like rectangular one like the PS2 games came in.
Yeah,
I think it was PS1. Yeah.
So
I don't remember the name of that one, but
I don't. But I do remember that I had a good time playing it. It felt like just a Digimon RPG. That's it.
But the thing too is, it's like, well, I mean, if you played it in high school, it'd be different. But I'm like, if it actually came out in PS1 and I played it when I was like 10, was it actually good, or was I just really dumb?
Yeah,
like this game fucking rocks.
This is the greatest game I've ever played. Yeah, no, probably not. So, and then like you move past it, so we are getting a resurgence of Digimon now because they are going to be remaking the original, which Digimon has needed a reboot for a very long time. There are so many stories and arcs and factions and people. The world has become massive, but the problem was when they came out with the first Digimon show, like they weren't imagining this is what will become of it. So if we get that reboot, hopefully we can make a cohesive storyline that goes from point A to point B, not up and down, like what's going on?
Yeah, like I'm actually currently rewatching all of the first 4 seasons because I got the collection, and I'm almost done with season 1 again. And I'm like, man, this show has a lot of really good parts.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it also, some of these parts, I'm like, man, this is really mediocre. Like, and it's crazy because I didn't really realize how much stuff happens in that first season. For some reason, I thought that
you think it's multiple seasons.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, the Dark Masters really happened in season 1. It happened to like Ty and the gang. I don't know why. I felt like that was like season 3 with the Tamers.
Yeah.
And like I remember watching, I'm like, man, in 50 episodes, they have Devamon they face, and then they have Intamon, then they have Myotismon,
Yeah,
and
like
then they have
Puppetmon in there.
well, that's the Dark Masters because
Okay,
there's
yeah,
Puppetmon, Metal Seadramon,
yeah,
Sheendramon, and uh, Piedmon.
yeah.
And you have like all these arcs, and it's like literally just like 50 episodes of the show. And then there's a lot of filler episodes too, which is it's like so really the big like climactic episodes. There's not very many of them. Like it's like 2 or 3, and then like 7 fillers, and then 2 or 3, and then like 7 episodes.
Yeah.
It's
But then you get like to the kind of part in the season where they're starting to warp Digivolve. Like I remember
yeah,
when the episode came out where Angemon and Angewoman had to shoot the arrows at Ty
Matt
and
and
Matt.
Ty.
Yeah, and I was sitting there. I remember being a little kid, like, what is going on? You
Well, I
can't
remember
shoot
like
arrows at each other.
I remember when I watched it, and part of me it's sad because I was a kid at this time too. I was like, what if it just killed them?
Yeah,
Like it just hits them and like they just die.
yeah,
But
like,
but yeah, I will say like that with when my Otismon came to the real world, that's when I think Digimon really just took off.
yeah, because
Like
it got. It's weird. I don't want to like not punny wise or anything, but like it got real because you were. So Pokemon, here's the thing. Pokemon, like the whole story of that, it feels like it's in a fantasy world. Like you have a 10-year-old that's living out on his own and just doing all kinds of crazy things. So at the beginning of Digimon, they're in like the digital world and everything's fun and happy and everything's going on. But then they come back to the real world. And when you come back to the real world, the story gets so much just darker and grittier because you're
yeah.
not in the happiness of the digital world. You're back in Earth, and Earth is not always happy. And
Well, and like too, like the tone of the whole show does like you said change because like when Myotismon, he he creates that fog and then he controls all the parents or whatever to like go to the I think it's the TV station or something or another the mall and he holds them captive there and at like one point he literally like says he's gonna kill them
yeah,
like I'm just gonna kill your parents and like stuff like that and it's like okay they really just ramped this up
yeah.
made it seem way more surreal.
Yeah, and it's the dark tones and like so something you're not used to seeing. Like you think about it, go just remember through like all the episodes of Pokemon, you stuff like that, and think about like has someone actually died? Cubone's mom, maybe.
Yeah, that's like the one time they do show death.
Yeah, but like
Well,
they
that's the
don't
one time I
show
think
it.
they show
They
that
talk about it. Yeah,
Digimon, that Pokemon can die,
yeah.
but
But in Digimon, I mean, you had I don't know why I want to say Candlemon because it's been a long time, but I know it was like the two Digimon, and I'm pretty sure they met him in like the Digiworld bar or something like that.
are you talking about in season 1 where they where like Myotismon kills like 2 Digimon?
Yeah, yeah,
Are
they're
you
friends.
It's Gatsumon and Pumpkinmon.
Yes, okay,
Because they're like they want to be like Hollywood stars and they're all like doing the whole like
yeah,
jazz hand things and yeah and like they lie to Myotismon saying they're like fighting Matt and like Matt and TK and then like they're like no we just want to go hang out like
yeah,
and he like yeah just kills them. Well, I mean they go back to the digital world and become Data then they become an egg but
yeah. But their character, like that specific person, is gone for good-ish. And
yeah
then oh, I forget his name too. The wizard up on top that jumps in front of. Yeah, Wizardmon. Wizardmon jumps
It's
in
funny.
front of the blast from Devmon to save like Kyrie and Gatomon.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about Digimon is some of the names are either so spot on of what they actually are: Pumpkinmon, Wizardmon, Sorcerermon, and then you just have like fucking Garurumon, like
Garurumon.
shit like that that doesn't make any sense of what the hell this actually is.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a lot into like why we really like Digimon, and there's so much more to it. And you could talk just for hours about why I feel like this series is something that you, as a listener outside of this, should really kind of give it a chance, especially with the reboot going in. Just go back and through and sit through that reboot. Hopefully, they're going to do it right. And if so, maybe this world is something for you.
Is it? Because I'm trying to remember. It's just gonna be a movie of a reboot, or is it gonna be an actual series?
They're rebooting a series.
Okay.
Season
I didn't know
one's
if they were
supposed
gonna
to get a
do just
reboot.
like
And
if they was gonna do a movie or just like how Try is with like series or
I think it's going to be closer to Try, and it makes sense because if you look at it, that's what people remember. They remember that season one and kind of going through that, and it was a great season. And there are other great seasons, but people remember that. But the graphics for it now are very, very dated, which is fine. But
yeah.
it's just coming back to that art style and kind of making it. And hopefully, we're going to be able to take those stories and get rid of some of that filler and then bring it in where, season one we meet more of the Digidestin, or we see more times where like the season I believe 3 Digidestin come in and all of that as we go through. So that's my hope for it. We'll have to wait until see it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So next question for you. Who's your favorite Digimon?
Well, this is gonna be, I will say, because of the show, because of the backstory and like the emotional kind of attachment it gave me, it's probably Beelzemon.
Okay.
Mainly because in season 3 of Digimon Tamers, they have the backstory of Impmon, who
Mm-hmm.
they show how he like loses his tamers because he had the 2 kids as his tamers, and how all he wants to do is digivolve and become powerful and feel significant again. And he's always causing trouble with with like Henry, Rika, and Takato, and then finally, because he gives himself up basically to the Devas, which I cannot think of what the dog Deva's name is now. That's the one who like helps him digivolve,
Yeah,
become Beelzemon. But like just that whole story and then how his like characteristics change and that character build was just so incredible that it always made me just love Beelzemon. And he is very powerful too.
Yeah.
He's ridiculously strong. But yeah, I always had, ever since then, I had a real soft spot for him.
So like for me, it's kind of hard because as a Digimon, I don't really care too much for Guillaumon, but his mega form Gallantmon, I think that's one of the neatest looking Digimon. He's got the giant shield and the spear. He's just
yes. Well, like I love, like it's funny because I love the Guillemon too. Is like his whole like mannerisms. I'm like, he's basically a fucking dinosaur dog.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, he is.
He reminds me a lot of Gambit, my dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, but like from that to Growlmon's really cool, and then he goes into War Growlmon.
Yeah.
Is it War or Metal Growlmon? It's War Growlmon.
I think it's War Growlmon, yeah.
And I hate it. He looks so goofy with
and he's got like the giant metal on him.
Yeah.
And he has just a weird thing, he's one of the few Digimon that like he digivolves and his type changes to cyborg, and then when he digivolves again it becomes uncyborg. Like when it looks at Digimon types, that's just a weird fact about it, because he becomes like, he gets like all that robot stuff and he just looks so like, you just stand behind him and what's he gonna do? He's never gonna turn around. He's so big. So I don't like that, but like once you get to the Gallantmon stage, like, oh man, that just looks so cool. And I don't know, that was a big part of the show. Like when he finally got there, and was it Takato or what was his?
Takato.
Yeah, that was a tamer. Like I really liked how they did that, because previously in Digimon, like you had Tai, and Tai was your antagonist, and he was like, Tai was fearless. He didn't care about anything, and he just he was like gun ho. We've got to do this. We've got to be good and do this and this. And then you have Takato, and he's like scared and timid, and he isn't like he's the exact opposite of what they had before, which is really neat to me. And then see him all in ethereal form floating around in Guillemon's head and stuff like that. It was just really, I thought that was really well done. It was a really neat thing for me to see.
Yeah. Do you know the way to tell who the main character? Well, I won't say main character because it's all the. Do you know how to tell who the leader of the Digidestined are?
Is it the goggles?
The goggles.
It's the goggles every time.
Goggles.
You gotta wear the goggles.
Down on the goggles.
As long as you're wearing the goggles, you are in there.
Even in like the games I'm playing, like each of my characters have these fucking goggles. I'm like, God damn it, why?
So, now that we're kind of going over that things, let's kind of talk about some of the factions in Digimon. So, we are in a specific digital server, and our digital server that we're introduced for most of the game is ruled by King Drasil or Yggdrasil or whatever, whatever they call him. And he has a band of individuals that work for him called the Royal Knights. Um, the Royal Knights, they serve him, and they serve the tree, which is basically a server tree. Because when you think about Digimon and that whole world, it's basically a server. And what kind of makes the digital world and human world come into contact with each other is called the Great Firewall, which is basically a firewall that went down. And that's when we see like the first Digidestined, which I don't have much info on them, but the first Digidestined come through, and then after that you get Tai and all the other ones. But the Royal Knights they've kind of gained popularity recently because they're some of the stronger Digimon, and they all have holy armor, and a lot of the main show's protagonist Digimon they don't become holy knights, but their type is a holy knight. So
Right.
like Omnimon becomes a holy knight, not the one from the show, but a different Omnimon. Gallantmon, and then they even go further. They get like different modes and stuff like Gallantmon Burst Mode, EX, God Armor. It gets kind of wild, but the that is one of the main groups that's kind of running the digital world because they are considered some of the stronger Digimon, and each one of them has their own thing that they serve for. What happens is like the Digi world, basically there's orders that come down to say, hey, we've got to destroy the human world because they see us as a plague, like we're kind of a virus. And once King Drasil sends down that message, a couple of the Digimon don't agree with it from the Royal Knights. So of course there's an uprising. Gallantmon dies. He gets killed. Omnimon uses Gallantmon's power to destroy King Drasil and then reset the digital world. And then they start finding out more and more what King Drasil was trying to do was get the knights, make them powerful, and then go into another server, a server next to this server, because this one is kind of off of Yggdrasil, which is a Viking mythology. They wanted to go to the server next to them, which is called Olympus 12, and fight those Digimon. That's what his main goal was. So it's a whole wild thing, but just know, like, the Royal Knights have gotten a lot of popularity, and it wouldn't be odd to think that they would get some kind of spin-off coming up soon.
I would hope so, because like that's one thing that they never like touched on ever for the most part was the Real Knights. Like I said, you get Gallantmon or a version of them in Tamers, but
and
you get Omni.
Like, what is it? Imperial Mode Vmon? Is that like the little blue guy?
Well, Vmon, yeah. Are you talking about Ultra Force Vidramon?
Yeah. So that's another Royal Knight, but it's not that guy. But yeah.
But he's not it's not in the show.
No. Yeah, and that's the craziest part about it. So you see all these Digimon. They're in the show, but they're not those Digimon that are in the show. They aren't the ones that are from the Royal Knights, according to canon. So there's evidently a gajillion Gallantmon running by, which is weird.
And you only see Omnimon in the movie. Same with Magnamon.
Yep. And then what was the first guy they fought in Tri? Not Omnimon. The guy in all black that comes through the first time and just like destroys the city.
Shit, I only saw it try it once so far.
Yeah. Regardless of whatever his name is, he's technically one of the Royal Knights.
Hold on. Wait, was it Jessamon? Royal Knight Digimon. Let me look it up because I'm gonna.
Yeah. Well, while he's looking that up, so the Royal Knights have a kind of a different side. They have a dark side, and they're the 7 great demon lords. And when I first looked at this, I thought, I was like, oh, it's going to be all the 12 people that they fought from, or not the 12. It's going to be the people they fought in the original Digimon series. But no, it's a way stronger Digimon than that are in for the 7 great demon lords.
Yeah.
So it becomes this whole ordeal. You're looking into it, and what's crazy is you have all this information about all these 2 warring factions of like some of the strongest Digimon that are, but there isn't a show about them. You learn a lot of this through games and other media outlets that it has. It's just crazy
Oh,
that
it's Alphamon. Okay.
Alphamon.
Yeah, we said all black. I should have just guessed because that's like the all black.
Yeah.
That's like the only all black one. It's Alphamon.
Yeah. So it's crazy though that we don't have this in a show yet. At least like, why wouldn't this whole story that I just kind of went over? Why wouldn't that at least be in a movie that I could watch?
The only the only thing, I mean, in Digimon the movie, you get to see 2 Royal Knights, but you don't see them like actually do anything. I feel like that was a big missed opportunity. Another faction too. Well, I mean, it is the seven great demon lords.
Oh yeah. That's what I was just talking about. The great demon lords.
Yeah, like I just don't get how they never brought them up.
Yeah, and so if there's these Digidestin running around the digital world just tearing things up, don't you think one of the 7 great demon lords would have been like, hey.
I mean, they do encounter I mean, Beelzemon is actually the one for gluttony, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do meet him, but yeah, like you don't see Lilithmon or like Barbamon or Levamon.
Yeah, and I mean,
you see Loosemon.
Maybe.
There's
I've seen little clips of them, but you're not. The weirdest part is you're never seeing them as like, hey, I'm the great demon lord. You're seeing them as, oh, I'm a side character. Or, hey, I'm one of the tamers Digimon or something like crazy like that.
Just like an individual Digimon, not as like the actual collection.
Yeah, and it's weird because you have such great lore steeped in a series about stuff that we don't ever see in the thing, and we have all this that we could easily make, because you think about people really like knights and demons and stuff like that, and you could make a 2-hour movie out of this, and you got me, I'd go to the theaters to watch it. Yeah, so I would soak that up.
And I almost wonder if they didn't do it because of the fact that they were, I mean, who was their biggest, I have the hiccups, I'm sorry, who was the biggest competition? Pokemon. Who was their demographic? Children. So if you get into these really deep, darker stories, you might lose that fan base, which it's like, I understand, especially for the time when it came out in the early, late 90s, early 2000s. But man, it's like I said, it's a missed opportunity, I feel like. But at least they are acknowledging the fact that they know like they have such a big fan base still to this day, and that they're trying to do something. Because man, I mean, I watched that. I got all the ones that have released so far, and I'm like, this is so good, and it's like exactly what I needed. Yeah,
and it really focuses on story more than anything. Like I thought when I went into Try, I was like, oh, we're gonna get away to Digimon. They're gonna be digivolving every episode, and we'll spend 30 minutes doing that and just fighting a little bit. But it's more like you watch the first 3 episodes, and you're like, wow, these people are sad, dude. They're living in the real world. They got some real problems going on right now.
Yeah.
So, now kind of we talked about those factions, and there's even more factions beyond that. There's like the 4 great guardian beasts, which are based in like Japanese lore. The like tiger that guards the east, the turtle, the phoenix, and I believe a serpent. Rabbit. I think it's a serpent, and then there's a dragon in the middle, a gold dragon. I don't remember all these Digimon's name because they're like, I don't know, there's like 1,500 Digimon or something like that right now. But that's another group of individuals.
You got the Deva Digimon.
Yeah.
Or the Deva Digimons, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So there's so much, and we could spend hours just talking about those, but if you really look at this lore and you kind of get into it, there's so much there, but you have to be the one that goes find that. And it's always unfortunate with that. That's the same thing. We had that conversation. We were talking about Destiny. I mean, Destiny, so much lore, but you have to go get it.
It's like there's this whole platter in front of you, and all you really get is the cheese being sprinkled on top. you you don't get the platter until you go out there and you cook it and you prepare it yourself. You get the garnish, and it sucks.
Yeah. So, for those of you know, we'll kind of go through a little bit. I'll give you a quick rundown of basically like how Digimon evolved to the next level. So what they'll do is they gain strength and they gain data, and as they gain enough strength or data, they get the ability to evolve or digivolve, depends on if you're in the US. Digimon that have partners or tamers or whatever they're called that season, they can evolve at an accelerated rate. They can evolve faster than Digimon out in the wild and stuff like that. So it starts, they have levels and they start at fresh, and they go in training, rookie, champion, ultimate, mega, and some Digimon, very, very few, some Digimon have a level that's called like ultra super or ultra mega. It's something, there's a bunch of different ways that people talk about it online. But you see that very rarely and not very much in the show. People think like, oh, you know, there was a when they killed Apocalypse Mon, the Digimon with the white sword just killed Apocalypse Mon. They're like, oh yeah, that's Ultra Mega. You can't see that anywhere. Everywhere that there is online and everywhere in the lore, it counts them as just a mega form. So what happens is Digimon will go up to that level. Once they expend X amount of energy or time, they lose data and they'll digivolve. And the more they use, the further they go back. Like some Digimon go so far back as becoming an egg again, like Patamon.
Yeah, when he first was Angemon, he used a Hand of Fate.
Yeah, and then went all the way back to egg mode. So there's repercussions to it. It's one thing that's really neat, and you think about a lot of people can recognize all of the like rookie modes. Like you have Gabumon and Agumon and stuff like that. You see them in their rookie modes, and they're like, "Oh, I know who that is." It's neat that they made a decision. They're like, "Hey, we have these cute little Digimon, but when they transform, they get really strong and they're awesome. But let's bring them back to their cute form for the normal time. They're basically doing things." So that's one thing they do. My question to you, Dalton, is what is your favorite form of Digimon evolution?
Elaborate.
So, like, you have armor, hybrid. Oh Lord, egg.
Yeah.
Fusion, the fusion one. Just regular Digivolution. Warp. Warp was always fun because it saved me a lot of time.
Yeah. Armor was always cool because I remember when I first saw like Flame Dramon.
Yeah.
He was sick. And also, I will say, before Beelzemon, Vmon was my favorite because that little dude just seems so cool.
Yeah, like when it becomes
Like-
the blue dog, like
Yeah,
the blue
I mean,
with the horn.
Yeah.
was pretty
All of his forms are cool. Like this fucking V-Dramon, not just Vmon, but like V-Dramon
Yeah.
sick and like Era V-Dramon. But
Imperial Vidramon is pretty awesome looking.
yeah. Yeah, like, so I really like him too. But yeah, armor was always really cool. But I mean, yeah, I liked Warp a lot too because that first time you see War,
Garurumon?
Greymon,
War Greymon.
and Metal Garurumon, it's pretty sick.
It is, I mean, and the whole just lead up to that and everything. I do think Warp is really cool. I'd probably have to agree with you, Armor, just because it added something to the show that it didn't have. So like you had all these Digimon and they didn't have the ability to digivolve as well as they had in the previous seasons. So they had to figure out ways to kind of freshen it up and bring in the show. So they brought in those eggs, and each egg had like a crest on it. And the crest it was like, hey, you know, I'm gonna take Agumon's fire and mix it in with this Digimon here.
And it's cool. It's cool too. Like I say in like season 2. Now I'm about to restart watching it, so I could be wrong here. But Vmon's Vmon in rookie mode. When he goes to champion mode, he's actually without any armor or anything. He's X Vmon. I don't think he ever goes X Vmon in the show.
May not. Because I've seen like pictures of him cartoonized as XVmon, but I don't know if it was from the show or not.
Because he gets taller. He gets
the things on the set.
He has a big old horn in the front.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever show him do that in the show. Like I said, I could be wrong. I don't think in the show he ever goes XV.
You know, it was another Digivolution that's later on the show, the armor ones. when they gave him, like, not the eggs, the armor, and like that. Oh, this is late. This is late in the Digimon thing. So like
Oh, you're right, because armor is
it,
when
you picked up like it was basically same. It was kind of close to eggs, but you could wear multiple armors, and like the more armor you wore, you would become even stronger. Uh, I don't know. Was that is that maybe I if you wore enough
thanks, baby.
armor, you basically would be able to surpass like digivolving levels. Like the armor would make you as strong as a mega or an ultimate.
Yeah.
Like the digi eggs, all the digi eggs for the most part would just make you as strong as a champion. Like you were just pretty much champion strength, maybe a little more, but definitely not ultimate. Yeah, but uh, who knows kind of what things they have. Then have did you get to watch any of the Digimon Cross or X Cross or whatever?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's a really new one. I haven't got to see that as well. So we another problem is delayed release in America for some of the products. So like I can find some of them now on Crunchyroll, but there's still a lot of the shows that I can only find by buying them off Amazon, having them shipped to my house. And I don't know if I'm wanting to spend $50 at the moment on Digimon DVDs. I would,
Yeah.
but
Like I said, I spent $100 on the collection. I'm probably about to
worth.
spend like 30 to get the movie again, so I don't have to try to bust out a VHS player.
Um, so we just got the new trailer, and me and you kind of had a conversation about this via text before the show and everything else went on. So in the show, they show a new evolution for Agumon and Gabumon, and it basically looks like um, Matt and Ty um, fuse with them
Yep.
somehow, like they're inside. But the show is called The Last Evolution, right? I think that's what it's called. Either
Yes.
that or the
Yes, I think
Final
so.
Evolution.
It's yeah, it's something along those lines.
So, what do you think's going to happen?
That's tough. Like I said, you and I have talked about it, and there's a lot of weird ways they can go. They might go, and I don't know if they'd reuse this. They might go the route of like Tamers, where at the end, basically the two worlds disconnect. They can't. Nothing can come in, nothing can come out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where they don't have a way to communicate between worlds anymore. Um, that's more along the lines of what I'm thinking, because it's like there's no way they can. I feel like they can't get rid of the digital world,
Yeah.
because I mean
Why,
everything they have is digital. You know what I
why
mean?
would you
So
want to kill
it's
your
not like,
series?
yeah, it's not like and not just that. It's just like the world lives off technology, which is digital. So it's like are they getting rid of technology throughout the world? So I think the only logical thing, at least that I could think of, is they disconnect the worlds from being able to cross into each other. What about you?
So, as I told you, I think that what I think is going to happen is basically Last Evolution. They're like, hey, we've got impending doom coming. Matt and Ty, you guys are gonna have to work together to save the planet again. But the problem is the Last Evolution, whatever it's gonna be, is gonna be Gabumon and Agumon hitting that ultra mega level, like the super level, when they fuse with Matt and Ty, like going through it, so becoming super powerful ones. And then I think it's going to take up so much data from those Digimon that they are going to convert to the egg.
Yeah,
Maybe.
just those two though. Do you think, or do you think they'd actually have
Well,
all of the
even
destinies?
maybe, but even when you look at it, like when you have the story, if you take Matt and Ty out of the story, even with the other Digimon there, like, do you still have a reason to continue that specific series? Like, do the other Digimon maybe the other Digimon have to give up all their power to make Matt and Ty evolve to that level?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was actually looking after we watched the trailer and we said something about it. I said to you, the one that looks like Matt and Gabumon, it almost looks kind of like Lobamon from Digimon Frontier, which is the
yeah.
one where the Digidestin actually became the Digimon themselves. They had their spirit evolution, which actually that's also a really cool evolution, spirit evolution.
Yeah.
But it looks a lot like Lobomon, and part of me is like, now Ty doesn't look like a Goonimon much. But part of me is like, that is a whole separate series. Like they're Digimon, but they're also not linked.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same world. So it's like, what if they actually do make them turn into a Goonimon and Lobomon, and like they spirit evolve, and that's how they kind of combine. How they kind
bring it all together.
Well, that's maybe like how they kind of give that little, like, I don't want to say a shout out, but like that little,
hey, look what we've done for
about Frontier, which I could be wrong, but yeah, people on I was like reading some Reddit posts, and that's what people are thinking. I'm like, I think this is actually a spirit evolution,
and
it's like a spirit and a fusion.
And it may, I mean, I'm excited to watch this. We have until the end of March until we'll get to be able to see it.
I think it's like the 25th of March. I think that's what I saw.
Because I know they have pre-screening in Japan this month.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I think when it comes to America, I think it's the end of March, and I think Japan it's earlier.
But I'm excited to see what's going out, and if anything, just getting another mainstream movie and something that I can kind of sit down and wrap my mind around. Very, very interesting to me. But Digimon, if you have not ever watched Digimon, hopefully we have made it so that you at least are willing to give it a try. Wait for the reboot. When it comes out, get it. If you want to talk about Digimon, let us know. So Dalton, where can they find you?
You can find me at Twitter at DaltonWho Gaming, all together, no spaces, no underscores, anything like that. But yeah, just DaltonWho Gaming for that. Instagram, it's pretty much all over the place.
Awesome. So
you're right there.
Yeah, my nose is. So hopefully we can come back. This would be part 1. I think we're gonna probably talk about Digimon a couple more times just because there's so much going in there. Maybe next time we'll get in some of the actual stories of the world, stuff that they have going on, and then maybe get you guys wrapped up in it as well. So if you guys have questions about Digimon, go ahead and put them in the comments. Send them directly to us. We would love to discuss them. You can find me at Shiny Shoes. Other than that, this has been Nerdlore Podcast. This is Shiny Shoes and Dalton Who.